So the recording is started, right? So okay, good evening, guys, and like we'll be starting today the Docker 9 session, right? And basically today's agenda of our topic is Docker Compose actually. So the last session, right? We completed the Docker file, right, with many of the Docker commands, right, internally. So to write a Docker file, and we played with like how exactly like you can build an application. So we took a small example, right? Like this was example, right, where we try to run an application. So through writing a Docker file and building as an image and then running, right? So like that. And so today we'll be starting up the day 9 with the Docker Compose actually. So this is one of the very important topic, Docker Compose. So, if you seen an interview, or if you just in terms of interview perspective, right? Usually, the interviewer will never ask anything, right, about the Docker Compose. Rarely they ask actually. They might ask you some few questions here and there regarding Docker Compose, but they will not ask you any direct question regarding Docker Compose. Okay, so that is one thing. So so they'll not ask that much, but it is always it is good to have a full-fledged Docker, right? You will not be involved in writing a Docker file actually, right? You will be involved in writing a Docker Compose actually, a Docker Compose file. Now, okay, I'll do one thing. Let me start the AWS instance also. So I'll log into the console. Okay. R23XPX or R23XPX. So you could see that still my instance, right? I have just stopped it, right? I have not even terminated it because I know that in every class we need. So that's what hence I have stopped it. So it doesn't mean that the billing is not happening. So here what happened for the EC2 machine, right? The billing is not happening. Okay, for the machine it is not happening. But whatever the storage is allocated, right? What are the storage like 8 GB of storage is allocated for that slash root, right? For the slash partition, that would be billing actually. That would be built up every month. Okay, so this I click on it and I'll just start the instance. So let us see.
But Rajesh bhai, that is also free till 30 GB, right?
Yeah, 30 GB per month. It means
Per
that
month. Yeah.
yes, per month actually. Suppose I have
Three
stopped my
instance we can
machine.
run.
Yes, I have stopped my instance and I have stopped my instance every day, right? I think it will consume 1 GB or something like for the 30 days. You can make your server up and stopped up to 30 days actually. It means that after 30 days the billing will start.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. So let me connect it. You know very well now how to connect it. So I'll go to the SSH client. So here, once you connect it, right? Once you click on this and do connect, actually here you have a different things. You have to go to SSH client. Here you have to copy this particular this. You have to just click on this. It will copy it, or else you can do like this also and copy it, whatever way. Then you know already that I have a PEM file which I have kept in my downloads. To go here, open the Git bash, right?
Rajesh bhai, have you tried Cell Cloud in that?
Shell Cloud, I will tell you, sir. Shell Cloud, I have not tried, but I will tell you.
Uh,
Means
uh,
I have not tried. It means I have not shown in the class.
oh,
Shell Cloud also we can do it. Okay, so I just logged in. So I'll just switch to the super user or the root user. Okay, so here if you execute Docker info, you know very well Docker is installed already. So we should able to get this command executed successfully. So whenever Docker info is executed successfully, now you know that Docker is installed, right? So we know this very well. Now, so we are learning about the Docker Compose, right? Why? What is a Docker Compose basically? So let us open it. let us write a diagram and just see how exactly Docker Compose works. So you know that this is a Docker host machine, right? I have installed all the Docker package, have started the daemon, and I have enabled the daemon so that this machine has become a Docker host, right? Now what is happening is that you know very well that we write a Docker file. We write a Docker file to build an image, to build a customized image, you have to say customized image, and later we run that customized image so that your application will be up and running in that container, right? That's what. Now the thing is that actually many times what happened, there'll be a requirement that actually you need to write some 100 you need to run some 50 containers, right? For some 50 containers, actually what is happening is that you need to you need to run some you need to write some 50 Docker files. You need to write some 50 Docker files. You have to manage those 50 Docker file in a different folder. And then in the command line also, you, whenever you want to run that 50 containers, right? For each and every container, right, to run the container, you have to use a Docker container run, like this you have to use, right? So it becomes very tedious task, right? And also maintenance becomes very difficult, actually. So it means that I have a requirement, and you need to run so many number of containers. I mean, manually doing everything is a tedious task, and it will consume a lot of time, and you will also do a lot of errors also while doing it. So hence, what Docker has did, right? Docker has came up with a nice concept of Docker Compose, actually. What Docker Compose says, actually, now suppose assume that I want the 50 containers to be started. It means that you need some kind of a 50 resource to be started. Actually, you need some kind of a resource to be started. Well, so what you can do that with the help of a Docker Compose, you can actually you can actually run, or you can actually get 50 resources within no time. It means that you can quickly create 50 containers within no time. Within some few seconds, you can actually create n number of containers. How you can create n number of through that? Because through help of a Docker Compose, you can actually write a Docker Compose YAML file or JSON file. It means that basically I need to write a some file with the name docker-compose dot YAML or YML, anything can do, or you can write docker-compose JSON. So with the help of this YAML file, what is happening that you need to write some kind of a YAML script inside this docker-compose file, and then you need to run this file, or you need to execute this file. Once you execute it, what is happening? Whatever you have written a rule inside this YAML file, right? Suppose you have written saying that I need 50 containers to run. You have mentioned all those syntaxes or all those, no YAML. You have written everything. So if you run it, actually, basically what happened is with the help of a Docker Compose, with the help of a Docker Compose, it is going to create 50 containers like this. Like this, 50 containers it will create like this within a fraction of second, or within some few seconds. So how it does, basically it happens actually that, okay, how it happens means, actually, suppose you have written a file with the name docker-compose.yaml. Okay, so I have to just run some command like this. What are the command? Docker-compose up-d, like this you have to do. Up means what it does, basically what docker what Docker Compose will do. This command will check for a file with the name docker-compose YAML. Is there any file in the present directory? Yes, there's a file. So whatever the content is there, so it might have written a rule. You might have written a rule that you need some 50 containers like that. So what is happening? You are making up all the containers. So whatever the 50 rule you have written to run a 50 container, the up is going to make sure that it makes that every rule as a container, and it will make it up and running. Hyphen d means detached. We will see later what are these commands. So it means that you need not to manage it individually. You need not to run some 50 commands, or you need not to have some 50 Docker files to create a 50 containers. It is not required. With only one file with the name docker-compose YAML, right, you can achieve everything. Similarly, what is happening is that whenever you don't want the container or you want to make all the 50 containers down, you can simple run the same thing. Docker Composer down. See, it is so easy, right? It is, I mean, you need not to even remember the commands also, right? So what we used to do earlier, oh, whenever I want to run any container, so Docker container run hyphen itd. Suppose I want to enable some port also, you used to say like this, and then specify some image like Ubuntu 14.02 or 14.04, right? So you have to remember, right, many things. So it is all not required. You can only play around with making a container up or down with the help of a Docker Compose. That is what it is. Now, if you take a scenario, suppose if I take a scenario, assume that I need a web container. Okay, so I need a web container. I need a web container. I need a web container. A web container, like you have something known as a WordPress, right? You know that there's a WordPress actually. So WordPress. So you can have a WordPress web container. Now for always WordPress, right? It always requires some kind of a DB also. So you will have one more container actually, which is something known as a MySQL DB. MySQL DB. Suppose like if I say MySQL 5.7 or just say MySQL. So you need a MySQL. Now what is happening is that actually now you are hosting an application to the WordPress, and for the WordPress always it requires a DB to be there, because of whatever you are writing a data into that WordPress, it has to somewhere store the data into the DB, right? So basically you need some kind of a two containers to make the WordPress up and running. So now what you will do is actually basically, so to make your MySQL up and running, what you will do, you will basically write a like this, some command you will write, something like I said Docker container run hyphen itd. Okay, and you need to enable some environment variable like MySQL underscore DB underscore password is equal to something like my password something, and then specify your image MySQL colon 5.7 like this. You are meant you are actually running a MySQL container like this. Similarly, like that, you will run a container. Something like this. And then what is the image name? WordPress. See what here what is happening is that actually when you are running a WordPress container, actually you need to mention what is the username of your DB, MySQL DB. See, basically whenever the web or the WordPress container has to run, right? Basically, it has to even know why before it runs. Actually, you need to provide the parameter for the WordPress. What are those parameters? You need to provide what is the DB username. DB username. Basically, DB username is what? It is always, I think it will be root. I'll say DB password. So my password, something you have to give. And also what is the port number, DB port which is running, on which port it is running. Suppose something. So all this parameter information actually you have to give to the WordPress before it starts running. Generally, what is happening, once you give all this information, then the WordPress, when it starts, right, it can get connected to the MySQL server. That's what, right? So it means that before you run this, actually you need to provide. So how you do that, everything, you will give some hyphen e, okay, like MySQL underscore user underscore name, something like this is equal to root, something you have to provide like this is equal to root. Okay, okay, I think we will remove this. I think we can't remove this, right? So here you need to provide, sir, like this hyphen e option, hyphen e option. Similarly, you have to give one more hyphen e option. Like that, you have to provide a very big command line to make sure the WordPress is running, right? So once the WordPress is running, it will get connected to the MySQL, and then like what are the application you are running the in the WordPress container, that web will do some kind of a read and write operation into the MySQL DB. So you are able to achieve. So what I'm trying to tell, here is that actually here you need to manually run these two containers and you need to manage everything. So it is a very tedious task actually. Think about that. You need to run 50 containers and manage it. It become very difficult. In that place, Docker Compose plays a very vital role actually. So it is always good that you have a Docker Compose. Okay. Now, how to do a Docker Compose actually? What happened, right? You will not get a Docker Compose by default. You need to install the Docker Compose. So to install a Docker Compose, you have to go to the Google and you have to say that Docker Compose install. If you do that, you can go to the official Docker document. So go to the official Docker document. Here you come down. Here they have given the steps. So here you could able to even install the Docker Compose in Mac, Windows, Windows Server, Linux, and some other alternative operating system. I will go with the Linux actually. If you go to the Linux, see they have given. Suppose you have to just copy this curl command, and here you need to just run that. Once you run it, after that, what is happening that here you come down, you have to give some execute permission. Just copy it and execute the permission. Give the execute permission. Finally, you have to create a soft link like this. Sorry. So this is the way. First, you have to install the Docker Compose. So you have to go to the official document, and then you have to run this command. So I've already installed it. Okay. Now, if I execute Docker-compose -FN help you can give, or you can give -FN version to just check if the Docker is installed, Docker Compose installed or not. You could see that Docker Compose is there, and this is the version, right? Similarly, you can even run Docker Compose -FN help. So it means that the Docker Compose is installed down. So now my requirement is that actually that what is my requirement is that I need to create these two containers. So let us do one thing. First, let us start or let us test how we can do through a command line actually. I mean, I need to run both this actually. For that, what I have did, right? I already have maintained it. I need not to write it. Can just type it. You can see here Docker container run -FN name db mysql. That is the name I'm giving. -e for is a parameter, environment parameter. Here you are specifying what would be the root's password. So mysql underscore root underscore password is something like my password. -d means detached mode, you know very well. And then you are specifying the image name mysql colon 5.7 version you're doing. So you have to just copy it. You have to copy this and you can run it here actually. Here I'm not using a Docker Compose here in the just in a normal way. I'm just showing you. Now you could see that actually Docker container. Sorry, let me check sir first actually. Okay, Docker container less. So it is running right now. The MySQL DB is running now. So similarly, what is happening that I will copy this one. This command it is used for creating a WordPress container, right? So before we execute it, let us see all the parameters. What are those? So now what I'm doing here, I'm doing a Docker container run -d means detached mode. Here using -p option because I need to enable the port mapping. As you know, all right, I have to specify the 8000:8. So this is the host port and this is the container port. You know, right? 8000:8. -FN name. Specify some name, something like I'm specifying as a my hyphen WordPress. And here, what and all information you have to give the WordPress? You have to give the information about the username, about the what is the IP address of your MySQL. See if you, what I'm mentioning here. First, you can see the option here -e WordPress DB host. What is our DB host IP address? So DB is already running. MySQL is already running, and I'm specifying as 172.17.0.2. Now, if I open one more terminal, if I go to the, so I'll just again copy it. I'll go to the downloads. And here I will try to Okay, I'll paste it here. I'll paste it. Okay, let us log in. Then I'll say sudo su -root, and then I'll say docker container ls. Now you could see that the MySQL container is running. I'll copy it. What I will do, docker container, you know very well, inspect command, and specify the container ID. You can either give container ID or you can give the name. So I'm giving the container ID. Here you could see that this is IP address. See, 172.17.0.2. The same IP address here I'm using it. See, so word underscore db underscore host. What is the DB name or what is the host name, IP address? That is specify 172.17.0.2. I'm giving the port as 3306 here. You have to mention it. Then again -e WordPress underscore db underscore user. So the root user is a user which I'm specifying it here. And again -e WordPress underscore db underscore password is my password. So what are the password here you are setting, right? The same password here also you should use it. It means that while when you're running the MySQL DB container, you are giving a password for the root's password as my password. Same password here also you should pass it when you are. One second, guys. Yeah, sorry, guys. So here what you are doing, that here you are specifying a password, and at the end you are specifying the image. Now you could see that if you run it, now it has created a container and it is running. If you execute docker container ls, now you could see that here the WordPress is also running. Here the port mapping is enabled, you know very well, and it has been running from last 8 seconds, right? And this is the WordPress image, correct? So this is how it is. Now what is happening, that here the WordPress basically it communicates with your MySQL, and whatever the data it is there. Suppose you are writing, you're writing an application. Suppose you're just hosting a web application, and that web application it can actually do some kind of a read and write operation through to your MySQL DB. It means that it can basically create a table. It can write some data into the table. It retrieve the data. Anything it can do actually, right? Now here what is happening, so that's how it is now. And if you want to really communicate, actually, see, now you know very well that actually that here you have enabled the port mapping, right? You know that, right? Very well, right? Now for example, we know that actually if I want to really I want to access the WordPress actually, so what is the IP address? So if you say docker container inspect and specify this container ID. So it is showing as a port number 7. So 172, sorry, not port number, IP address 172.17.0.2. So I can run the curl command. Let us see if it runs or not. Let's see. Okay, it is showing something that it has error in establishing database connection. Oh, okay. How come? Oh, okay. What happened, sir? What is IP address? Public IP address. Oh, there is some problem, sir. It is saying it was not, it was working fine only. How come suddenly it is showing error in establishing database connection? Okay. Docker container ls. Okay, 8000 with AP, correct? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 72. Okay, I think it will show the same thing. 132.17.0.3. It will show the same error. Yeah, it is showing the same error. Yeah. So okay, so guys, what I'm trying to tell here, that when you are trying to hit the IP address, right? You know very well now, right? Now here what is happening? The web container is running now, right? But that is not what the WordPress actually. Now what you're doing right here, you have been sitting here outside, right? Same thing. I will take here. I will draw one more image actually. So you know the concept of the port mapping, right? Because here what is happening that your container is running here. The WordPress container is running here, right? The WordPress container is running. And what is happening, you have enabled the port 80 actually, right? And here what is happening is that actually, and this container, it is having an IP address 172.17.0.3, correct? And here what is happening is that here you're sitting somewhere outside. Here you are sitting somewhere outside here. And then what is happening? This is your system. You're sitting somewhere here. So you're sitting here, and then what is happening that you want to just access this WordPress container which is running, right? You want to access whatever it is running over here. You know that actually. So to access, basically what happens that here you have to first enter into the host itself, Docker host. This is a Docker host which is running, right? This is a Docker host. This is your Docker host. You know very well Docker host. So what is happening is that in AWS, you know that actually whatever the Docker host IP address is given, right? Those IP addresses are nothing but it is a private IP addresses, right? And basically what happens that the whole Docker host, it is running in a VM which has been running in the AWS server. So AWS always provides the two IP address. One is the public IP address and another is the private IP address, right? So that's the reason what is happening is that here what you have did, here what is happening that you are having a ETS0 instance. In the last class also, I think we discussed the same thing, right? Here, if I execute the ifconfig command, you could see that you have a network interface in ETS0, and this is the IP address, right? Correct. This is IP address. Now, what is happening that if you want to, if the outside machine, if it want to connect or hit to this IP address, right? So what is happening that this machine can only connect with only with the Docker host, not with the WordPress container, right? Now, if you want to enter or so this machine, the outside machine or outside server can connect only to this Docker host with the IP address. Now, what is happening that, but he don't want to connect to the Docker host, but basically he want to get connected to this WordPress. So then what is happening that you have to do a port map enabled. It means that actually what here you are doing that you have to map this IP address to this WordPress container IP address, right? IP address. Then you can able to achieve it. But again, what happened, right? It is not always good that you only map only the IP address. You need to map the with the port number actually, right? That's the reason what we do here. What we do here, you know that actually when we are running a container, we use something known as a -p option, and you say that 8,000 and with the 80. So now what is happening that if this outside person, if he hits, if he hits the IP address with 172, whatever you have, 31.20.119 colon, and you have to specify 8,000 like this. When he hits to this IP address, what is happening is that this outside machine can connect to this Docker host. But what is happening that since you have enabled the port mapping, whatever the traffic it is coming to this network local interface, the traffic will be redirected to the WordPress container. That's how the outside machine or the outside can able to access this WordPress container which is running. This we have already discussed, right? Similarly, assume that they are having one more container, okay, where even what is happening, even it is also some web applications running, that some Nginx is running. It also use the port number 80, 88 users. So now you will say that the outside machine, how we can connect to the Nginx. Again, what is happening that you have to enable the port mapping. What you will do again, you will say, okay, now I'll do -p, -p. I will use something like 9,000 and with the port number 80. Now what is happening that this, so what you are doing whenever you want to connect to this IP, to this machine, what you are doing, you have enabled the port mapping. It means that whenever somebody from the outside, he is hitting with this IP address 172.31.20.119 colon 9,000, what will happen that redirect all the traffic which is hitting to the, which is coming to this port, to this container, like that it will go. So whenever he is hitting to this IP, the traffic will react to the Nginx container. This is how what happened, right? You can do a communication actually from your outside to the inside container only with the help of a port mapping. Correct, sir? This we already discussed it actually. But again, what I'm trying to tell here that actually that this is again 172.31.20. It is nothing but it is your private IP address, right? It's a private IP address. You cannot actually basically communicate with the private IP address. From outside world, you should always have a public IP. So AWS provides a public IP address. So the public IP address is nothing but your internet gateway. So here what happened, right? They will, they will enable a internet gateway. They will enable internet gateway. They'll provide an internet gateway like this, and this internet gateway, what they will do, they will provide a public IP address. So basically what is happening that now what happened, whenever user want to connect, actually he has to basically hit to this IP address outside machine or outside server. He has to hit to this IP address, specify the port number, right? Like 52.207.250.136:8000. What it will do, basically the traffic will go to this interface. From here already you have written a port mapping. From there the traffic will again redirect to this container like this. Similarly, he want to go to this container, same IP address :9000 he has to hit. Again the traffic will come to this IP address. From here it will go to 127.31.20.119:9000. From there the traffic again go to the Nginx container. This we call the port mapping. But okay, this is how it is. But the thing is here is that it is not working here. So we will see why it is not working. Okay, so here we could see that Docker container we saw, right? It is not working. We will see, sir, why it is not working. Because if you debug it, it will take time. Maybe there could be some firewall restriction would be there. Because of that reason, it is throwing an error like this error establishing connection error. So I need to disable some firewalling or something or SE Linux, then I think it will start working. Okay. So I will let you know what is the fix for this issue. But now what is happening that, sorry, I think somebody you have some doubts or you want to ask some questions.
Shall we need to give the link between two Docker images, right? Docker containers.
No, already we are given, sir. Here, if you see it right here, what we have did. Whenever you already provided the IP address of the DB server, sir.
Okay.
Okay, IP address you have already provided.
Okay.
So that's fine. That's how that's how what happened, right? The connectivity will happen from the WordPress to the DB. Okay. So nothing is there apart from that.
Anything open in the EC2 instance side? These ports
it's been enabled, sir. Actually, what happened, I have mentioned as all traffic.
Okay.
If you go to this, yeah. If you go to here, you go to the security, and here, if you come down, this is a security group actually. If you go to the security group, here you could see that. See, I have enabled all.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I have all traffic I have enabled.
Okay, got it.
So nothing is there actually. Okay, I will let you know, sir. Okay, let me do one thing, sir. So this is how it is. So what I'm doing here, basically, I'm trying to run some 2 commands and I'm trying to run a container. So it's a very tedious task actually. And you need to follow these 2 commands, right? I mean, these 2, no, you need to execute it. So let me copy paste these commands in our chat actually, or I will copy paste the same thing in our, so that you can also try. Okay, as the same thing, I will send it in a WhatsApp also. Okay, now, so let me do one thing. So let me kill it actually. Okay, I don't want it. Docker container rm-f Docker container ls-8. So I'm just killing. I'm just stopping both the containers. So if I execute, Docker containers. So it is stopped. Now what I will do, right? I will try to write a Docker into compose file. So to do that, let me do one thing. Let me create a directory, something like my file, something, whatever. So I'll go to the my file. Now here what happened, right? I will write a file now, the docker hyphen compose dot YAML. I can write YAML or I can write YAML. Anything it is okay. Okay. Now to do this, actually what I will do now, sir, I'll go to the net. I will just take a help from the net itself. I'll go to the same place where we install the Docker. Right here, what I will do, I will just search for WordPress. When I do a search for WordPress, so go for the first link here. You click on this. You would see that actually they have given some Docker YAML file. Okay, just blindly copy this, sir. Blindly copy this. So blindly copy this. So this is what the content of the Docker Composer. So basically, this is a YAML file. Okay, so I'll remove this space here. Now here, so let us understand, sir, what this says actually. So it says that actually something it is saying version :3.9. Okay, we will see what is this version. This is something like a Docker compose file format. Okay, Docker compose file format. You are having some version. You need to enable or you need to use some version. Why we have to use that? We will discuss later on. Now, after this version, you are having something known as services. Services, something you can understand that, okay, I need to create a particular container. So to create a container or to create an image or whatever, you have to use the service like that. You have to understand. So here, what I'm doing that I'm trying to create a container with the name DB. So basically, I need to create a DB container. Okay. What is a DB container? It says that image MySQL 5.7. Okay. I need a 5.7 MySQL. Fine. So this MySQL, it is using the volume also. And this volume is mounted to the /var lib MySQL. It means that whenever this MySQL will be up and running, whatever the volume we have, that will be mounted to the /var lib MySQL directory. Fine. Here what happened, if you come down, here you have something of volumes, and here you are writing, you are using some db underscore data volume. It means that you have already created a volume or you are creating a volume, and that volume will be mounted to the /var lib MySQL. Fine. Now, after that, what is happening that you are having something like restart : always. It means that basically your container has to be restarted always. When the container will restart, whenever there is a Docker daemon is getting restarted, then even your container should also get restarted. You would see sometime you will see like this actually. You could see something like Docker container run -itd, right? And then what you will say Ubuntu : 14.04. You might have seen many time, right? Like this. So whenever we want to run any container, I use container -a. But what happens? Sometime you will say, like, there's one more parameter you will see, -n restart equals always, like this. So you would see that in many places they'll be using this actually. It means that while running a container, they'll also pass this as a parameter. So what happened is this is like a restart policy. So what will happen that anyhow this container will be up and running. Assume that tomorrow Docker daemon itself will get restarted, your system will get restarted, or daemon itself will get stopped, you'll restart it. Automatically, even this container will also get restarted, sir. So this is one of the intro question they'll ask actually. How you will make sure that always your container will be running? Assume that your container has stopped, or assume that your Docker daemon has stopped. It is not working. So, sir, you have to say that, sir, I have to mention the -n restart policy in the command line like this. The same thing I want to achieve in a compose file, then you have to use this, sir. Restart : always. Okay, this you have to use. And after that, what are all the variables you have for this MySQL DB? You have MySQL underscore root underscore password is something like some WordPress. MySQL database is WordPress. MySQL username is WordPress. MySQL is password is WordPress. Fine. These are all the environment variables for which is used for your MySQL DB. Fine. Similarly, what is happening that after this is content, so this is for DB. Next is for the WordPress actually. And WordPress is always depend upon the DB. It means that always the WordPress container will depend upon the DB container. Okay, depends on. And then what is happening? What is the image it is using? It has to use the WordPress latest. Here, see, for the DB, it uses MySQL 5.7. Okay, here I'm using the latest. If you don't give latest, also still it pick latest. Now, whatever the volume for you have, that volume is been mounted to /www.html. And right, what it is using, see, you could see that I'm using the port here, ports colon, see, 8000 map to 80, and here also you're using the restart policy is always, and these are all the parameters you're setting. So now you could see that whatever the WordPress DB password is there, right, WordPress, the same password here, it should match. This and this should match, and this is your DB. So this is a very simple Docker Compose file where you have saved the file, and you have to always use this name only, sir, docker-compose YAML. So now what is happening that you see now. So when I use a Docker container, container ls, you could see that nothing is running. You have this Docker Compose. You see how nicely the containers get started. Docker-compose, and then you have to use the command up, and then you have to say D. Okay, now you could see that actually it has created the container. Both the containers are running. When you say Docker container ls, see, both these containers are running. See how nicely it is running, right? So see, I have not executed these two commands, sir. See, did I execute these two commands? So it is very hectic, right, to remember all these things and everything. Instead of it, you can write a Docker Compose file, right? So you need not to consider all these things, sending parameter in the command line. Here, see, within a fraction of second, it has made the container up and running. Now we will see, sir. I think now we will see. We will go to this, and I will take the IP address. Right, I will go. Okay, I'll go to the IP address, public IP address. I'll hit to this public IP address. Hopefully, it should come up now. Okay, now the WordPress application is launched now. Right, now you could see that the WordPress application is running now. Right, so here you need to create some user and password. You need to follow some methods actually to install the WordPress and proceed further. But you could see that actually how the application is running, right? So here manageability has become very easy, right, here in the Docker Compose way, right? So now what is happening that just with the help of one command like this, Docker Compose, not run, up-d. So what it has did, what the up-d did, that it has created the image, and it has created a container like this. So it means that what here it has did, Docker Compose, whatever the services, whatever the images you have with the name DB WordPress, both it has made it up and running as a container, right? So it has internally created image, and it has run that container also. -d means detacher. Wish to use -d means detach. Now you could see that the container is running, right? Similarly, now you could see that Docker Compose, and just set down. Now you say that, Rajesh, I don't want it. I want to kill it. I want to kill both these containers. So just run Docker-compose down. See, it is stopping both the containers, and it is removing it also. Now you could say Docker container ls. Now the container is gone. Again, you want to make it up. Again, say like this, Docker container up -d. See, it'll create it. And whenever you don't want it, you can make it down. So now again, Docker container ls, the containers are running. Whenever you want to down it, same thing. You don't have to use -d, just to set down. See how beautiful it is, right? It is very easy to manage the containers through the Docker Compose, right? And you can run n number of containers, how much ever you want, right? Now the thing is that in an interview they'll ask you they'll ask a question to interview, sir, why we need a Docker Compose? Okay, so one is to better manage it. Now the second thing is what happens, right? You will say that, okay, Rajesh, I have did a Docker Compose, and I have run it, and I do a Docker Compose down to make all the containers down. So you have a Docker file here, basically, right? Sorry, you have a Docker Compose file here, or Docker Compose YAML file here. Yeah, basically you have it. Suppose assume that this host itself will get this host itself will get killed, or the host itself will be up not running, the machine itself will come down. No problem, you can take this docker compose file anywhere, and you can just install a docker daemon, a docker you can install a docker commands, or you can install a docker package, and you can enable the docker daemon, run the docker daemon, just run this docker compose file. It will make the container up again. So manageability become very easy, sir. Even though the system itself will get crashed also, you can just run all the containers up and running with one single Docker Compose file. That's how the usage of it. That's an advantage of doing it. But actually, what is happening, right? So this is a very good way of maintaining a lot of containers. So developers or testers or QA engineers or even support engineers or DevOps engineers, they play with the containers, everything with the help of a Docker Compose file. So they will not write a Docker file. Now they will start writing Docker Compose file, right? So you need to basically write a YAML file or a JSON file to do it. So as I said, you can either run a Compose or a JSON file. Both are same actually. Later I will show you how to do it. The same thing with the JSON file. So that's how the advantage. But if you want to ask, so there might be a question in interview to be asked like, sir, whether will the Docker Compose will be used even in a production environment? So I would say no, they won't use it actually, because there are some limitations are there where you cannot full-fledged use all the features of Docker Compose. Hence, what happened, right? You are having a Kubernetes. So that's the reason what happened, that people will not go with the Docker Compose when it comes to production. They will instead go with the Kubernetes cluster actually, right? Okay. So that's how, sir. That's all about the Docker Compose, sir. Okay. So till now, you have any doubt? So we'll proceed further with some more things on Docker Compose. So if you have any doubt, let me know, or else we'll proceed.
Rajesh, I have one doubt in that file. So last, can you open that file, Docker Compose file?
Mhm.
So these db underscore data and then WordPress dot underscore data, what these volume they're mentioning, right? What exactly this means?
No, it will create a volume internally, sir.
Okay, it will create a volume.
Like here, like this, Docker volume.
Okay, got it.
Create
Mm-hmm.
db underscore whatever that name, right?
Okay.
Like that, it will internally create it. I'm saying this one.
Okay.
With this name, it will create actually.
Okay, got
Now, if you execute Docker volume ls, see, is it not creating a volume?
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, like that.
Rajesh, Jagavathi here. Suppose if
Yeah.
you want to edit particular container, if you edited particular container in that Docker Compose file,
Hmm.
how it will reflect that particular edited container? We need to restart daemon, or we need to particular
Yeah.
how it
Sir,
will
I'll answer your question in the next, no, sir. No, whatever the advanced things, whatever the next topic we'll be discussing, the same thing. So it means that actually when you rerun it, actually it'll update the container again.
Okay.
Okay. So that whatever you're asking, we will discuss now after this. Only we will discuss. So till now, are you clear?
Yeah, I'm clear, Rajesh.
Okay, sir. Okay. We'll go ahead now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing. We'll see next class. Whatever my doubt.
Okay, nothing to found. Okay, Docker, nothing is there actually, right? Now, what is happening is that actually, now we know that actually we are having something known as a Docker Compose file, right? We need to learn actually, we need to understand what is it. Suppose tomorrow I want to write my own Compose file. Here we are just copy pasting from the net and we are running it. Okay. Tomorrow I said that I want to write it. So basically you need to know the YAML syntax. So I'm not discussing anything about the YAML syntax here. So you should know something on YAML syntax. Or else when I take a Ansible, or I will take a particularly Ansible, there we will be learning we'll have one session only on how we can write a YAML file. So but now I am not discussing how to write everything. So what we will do, I'll do one thing, sir. So I'll empty it actually. So nothing is there. So let me, so nothing is there. Now I need to write Yeah, I need to write a YAML file. It means that I'm writing my own YAML file, Docker Compose YAML file. So whenever you write a Docker Compose YAML file, right, the first will always be a version actually. So what is this version? Version is nothing but this is a Docker file format. Now, if you go here, now you could see that if you see in the Google, we checked, right? Sorry. Uh, uh, See here, we saw that it was using something like version 3.9, right? Something. What is this? This is a Docker file format, we say. So what is it? What in the Docker file format? Docker file, Docker, I can say compose file format. Do that. So here you have some file formats, sir, and it is always respective with the Docker engine release actually. Now, whenever your Docker engine is 19.03, always you have to use the compose file format as 3.8. Even you can use a lower also. Suppose I'm using a Docker engine 19.3, you can even use a 3.8, 3.7, 3.6, 3.4, 3.3, anything, even below also, whatever it is. Even you can use 2.2 also. That is fine. But assume that actually I'm using something like 17.04. So when you're using 17.04, I mean, you are writing a Docker Compose file on a Docker engine where the version of the Docker engine 17.04. Suppose assume that I go here, I'll say that Docker -FN version. Let us see what is the version engine version. You could see that it is 20.10.7. My Docker version itself is. So 20.0.7. So it is actually beyond this what they have mentioned in the official document. So I can use I can use any of this version then. So it is always better that whatever the version what we have a Docker engine, right? The same correspondingly compose file format also you should use the same. It is always best actually because you'll get all the latest feature of the Docker Compose, right? Now assume that I'm using something like 17.04. Okay, my Docker engine is 17.04. In the Docker Compose file, if I'm using 3.8, then the Docker Compose, whatever Docker Compose, it will not run actually. So always, whenever you are having any version, right, it should be equal to that version or it should be lower than that. Suppose I'm using 17.04, I can use 3.2, I can use 3.1, 3.2, 2.4, 2. Any of the version below it actually, not above. If I'm using 17.04 and the Docker engine is 17.04, when I'm writing a Docker Compose file, there the version I'm mixing as a 3.3 or 3.4, it will not work. So that's how it is. That's how you have to understand. You have to keep this thing in mind actually. Okay. So here what is happening that I am using my Docker version is 20.10, which is a very latest version. So always whenever I'm writing a Docker Compose file, I can use either 3.8, 3.7. So in my example, I'm using this 3 only. Whatever. I mean, I can use even 3.8. So what I'm using here. So basically, okay, I have a Docker Compose. So here what is happening that I will say version : I will use 3, sir. Okay, or 3.8, whatever. Then what happened? I have to use the services. So it means that what are the content with what name you want to create it. Okay. So what I will do, I will say as a something as a web app 1, and then what is the image I will use? I will use image as Nginx. Similarly, I will have one more image, one more container with the name web app 2, or I'll do one thing, I'll write in another text line. I'll give one space actually. Web app 2. So the alignment should be correct because here, if I'm using image here with the first P, the same it should start here actually like this. So very, very simple Docker Compose writing I'm writing, sir. Okay. So these are the two things. It means that I need to have a container. Whenever the container is getting created, I need to have two containers get created. One with the web app name one is a web 2. What is the image which should be running in a container? It should have an Nginx container. That is what my simple requirement is. So now let us save this. Now we'll say Docker -compose. You know very well that whenever I want to run it, I have to use up -d. You could see that it is actually creating a container and it is running. Now, if you say Docker container ls, so now you could see that there are two containers up and running, both are Nginx, right? But you could see here that it is only using the port actually. It is using the port. So I have not enabled any kind of a port mapping. Okay, sir. Now what I will do, I will open the same Docker Compose file. I'll do one thing. You might have seen in other first example that there was something was a port was used, correct? So I will use port 8000. So I need to enable the port mapping. I need to enable the port mapping. So you have to give the ports. Now again save it. Now here, if you see whatever the question was asked, right? Here what happened that I have did only the changes to this web app 1, not to the web app 2. Now you see the behavior. Now we'll say Docker compose up -d. What will happen? See, it is recreating web app 1, but it is not doing any changes to the web app 2. Web app 2 is not being changed, only web app 1 is changed. So this is the answer for your question, sir, whatever you asked. So when you are doing a compose, what you have did the changes to one of the image, right, in the Docker compose file, it has only did the changes to it. Now you say Docker container ls. Now you could see that the port mapping is enabled here. For this, it is not. It is not did any change. So it means that this has not been recreated. You could see that now just a 25 seconds it got restarted. Means what basically it has intended, it has killed this and it has recreated a new image, a new container image, a new container actually. Got it, sir? Now what I will do, I will again open Docker Compose. I will do one thing for even for this also, I will do the same thing. Where am, sir? Yeah, sorry. I will go with ports, same thing, sir. I'll this time because I have to give a different port, right? I cannot give the same port, right? I can even use 8001, something like that, or I'll give 9000. Okay, 9000. Let us see now. Docker -compose run -d. Now what will happen? Sorry, what is it, sir? What I did? I think I did wrong. I have to use up -d. What is happening here? See, recreating the web app 2. Web app 1 is up to date. See, it is not doing any changes to the web 1, and it is only doing the web app 2. Now you can say Docker container ls. Now you could see that the port mapping is enabled. Is it clear, sir, till here? For all of us, all of you. Is it clear? So if it's clear, I'll go further, sir.
Yes, Rajesh.
Okay, sir, great, good. Now, so what I will do, sir, I'll do one thing. I will remove that port. Okay, I'll remove that port. I'll remove that port. I'll remove these lines and then again run a Docker compose, Docker compose -d. It will again recreate it, right? Then again, if I do a Docker container ls, now you could see that these two images are up and running, Nginx images, right? Correct? These are up and running, correct? Now, yeah. Now what is so? Yeah. Any doubts? No. Okay. So now what I will do? I'll do one thing, sir. Docker compose. There is you need to scale, sir. Suppose I say that Rajesh, web app 1, right? I need some 8 instance or I need 6 instance. So I'll say scale web app 1, I need 6 instance, and web app 2, I need 2 instance. See, you are scaling up now. So it means that actually you are scaling the containers. Now, if you say Docker container ls, you could see that. See how many web app, 6 web app containers are there, and two web app containers are 2. So this is how you can scale up and scale down. Tomorrow you say, Rajesh, I want not 8 man, I want 10 something. You can do that, sir. As many numbers like this. See, you're creating a 10 web app 1 and 10 web app 2. So you can create so many numbers with the help of a scale command actually. Docker scale. So Docker container ls. See this. Okay, I don't want it. I've changed my mind. I don't want this much. I want only 2. I want only 2. Yes, I want only 2, so not that much, right? So then you're stopping all unnecessary, and then you're starting it. Now you say Docker container ls. Now you could see that only there are two containers which are running, right? So here what is happening that I'm always running a Docker container ls, but Docker compose, you have a command as a ps, sir. That itself will give you the information about what are the containers running. This is specific. So whatever the container which are been run with the help of a Docker compose file, you have a Docker compose file, right? So with the help of a Docker compose file, whatever the containers which has been created, when you execute Docker compose ps, right, it will display all those containers which are up and running. It will show that, see, this is running, it is the state is up, and what is the port it is using, 80 port number it is using, like this, right? Now if you say that, Rajesh, I want to stop all the containers, you can simply say Docker compose stop. See, it will stop all the containers. Now again I'll say Docker compose ps, Docker compose ps. See, all has been in exited state. Again you say that, again I want to start, Rajesh, you can say it like this, start. See, it is so easy to manage, right, with this command. See, again you are starting. Again you say Docker compose ps. Again everything is up and running. Same thing, you want to stop and start, you want to restart it. So basically we can say restart. Correct, sir? It is so easy to manage, right, with the help of a Docker compose. So we restarted it. Again it's a Docker ps. You could see that, yes, all this are up and running, right? Sometime what is happening that, see, if you understand very carefully, right, when you use a Docker compose up -d, what it will do, no, it will create an image and it will run that image actually as a container. That's what internally the Docker compose will do, these two operations, sir, right? Suppose assume that if I say Docker compose down, I'm making all the images down. So now we say Docker compose ps. So nothing is running. Even if you execute Docker container ls, nothing is running. Correct? No containers are running. Right? Now, if you say that, Rajesh, I want to execute Docker compose, and I want to make it up, but I will mention, or I will pass some options of the -fn, no -start. What is the meaning of this actually? Now it means that you are making a Docker compose up, but you are saying that not to start it. Means that you have to only create an image, but not to run as an image. So we'll see what will happen. See, it is showing it as a creating, sir, but it is not running. So if you execute the same thing, Docker compose ps, see, it is in exit mode. It is not running. It means that you have only created an image. It is not running. So again, now when you want to run it, you have to just say start like this. See, now it will start. Now it's a Docker compose ps. Now it is up and running. Similarly, now you know that I want to stop it. You have to say stop like this and stop it. See, now it has been exited. Stop, start, restart. We have seen this, right? And -fn no -start means you are only creating an image, but you're not running it. In that way, you have to use -fn, no hyphen start. Correct, sir? Correct?
Yeah, correct, Rajesh.
Yes. Good. Now, okay. Now what will happen, right? Let me do one thing. Let me create one more file. Okay. So I will do one thing. I will come out from this directory. I'll create one more directory, my file one, because I need to maintain, right, a lot of different different Docker Compose file. So I'll do one thing, sir. I will write something like a my cloud .yaml actually. Okay. .yaml. Now you know very well that, see, whenever I'm running my file, now you know that there is a YAML file, docker-compose YAML file is there. Now whenever I'm running a Docker Compose, whatever the operation it is doing actually, right, it is actually looking into this file only, right? So what Docker Compose will do, always it will check in the presumed directory if there is any file with the name docker compose.yaml file or YAML or any file docker-compose JSON. If it is there, whatever you have written in that, actually this Docker Compose will act on that YAML file, and it accordingly it will run that image or whatever the operations are there inside it, it will do that, right? That's how it is. Now assume that I don't have a file with this name, I'm having the file with some other name, right? So that's what I'm saying, that if you come out, I will go to the my file one. Here what is happening, that I don't have with this name, particular name, I'm having with some other name, like something like my cloud dot YAML, YML, YAML. So I will write one thing, I will write version, okay, what is it, sir? 3.2 or whatever 3 I will use. Services, SERVICS, correct? Services. I'll do one thing, sir. I will use some name, something like dev app, okay. And I will use some image. I'll do basically, I will use what image I can, same Nginx I will use, just to showcase, sir, Nginx. Now I have this file now, sir. I have this file. Now I want to run a Docker Compose, but as you know, the Docker Compose, if I use a Docker Compose, what it says that it is not able to find it actually, it is unable to find it. So what you have to do, that whenever you want to run it, docker-compose -f you have to use. What is that? -f. What you have to do, sir? You have to say that my cloud.yaml up -d. See, now it will run. What is it, sir? Line number 5, yeah. Version services. So sorry, I think I have to mention a single quote. Now it will run. See, now it is running. Now if you say docker compose ps, now it is open. See, what happens, sir? Nginx. Nginx should be up and running, right? Correct, but why it is not showing here? Docker compose ps command. It should show, right, as up and running. Okay, fine. So here you can even run, you can even check with the Docker containers. It is showing that actually it is up and running like this. Okay. So similarly, what I'm trying to tell, that you have a my cloud. We have a my cloud, right? We have a my cloud. Now you say that actually, Rajesh, I have this YAML file actually. So I want to have a JSON file. So I will go with YAML to JSON converter, right? JSON converter. So transform. So what I will do, what you have here, Yeah, I'll copy this one, sir. Copy it. Go here. Last time I think I did it like this. This is I did for uh, Ansible actually. See, it is able from YAML to JSON. It is converted. So I'll copy this. So here, what I will do, I'll go back to this path. And something say anything. The cloud dot. Let me do something first. For Docker compose hyphen f mycloud.yaml down. I'll make it down, sir. And then like I will say something cloud.json file. So I'll copy the same thing. This is a JSON format, right? Then Docker compose, same thing. You have to use hyphen f option. Hyphen f. Okay, what is it? Cloud.json file down, not down, up hyphen d. See, we're able to do it. So it is just to show you that we can even use a JSON format or YAML format. That's all. Okay. So till now till here, are you clear, sir?
Yeah, good, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
What
yes,
else? Okay, good. Shall we spare another 15 minutes more, if you're okay?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Because we will complete this Docker compose itself. We need not
Yeah.
to keep this pending for tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Now, come out here. Now, I'll come out here. Now we'll say Docker. Sir, do you want all these examples? Or you have anyhow, you have a video, right? You can watch the video also, right?
Yeah, we can watch and we can note it down.
Yeah. Okay. If you execute Docker compose FN help, you have various options, sir. You have lots of very good options are there. See here. We have already used a lot of options, like we have used up option. I have used a Docker FN compose version. It has shown me the version also, right? Right. I even created also, because when you do it, actually, when you do a Docker compose up hyphen D, right? It internet does a create also, and then it will run it like that. So what is this build actually? A build or a rebuild a service actually. So what it means actually, basically what is happening that through a Docker compose, can I call a Docker file? Suppose I have a Docker file, sir. Okay, I want to run my Docker file. I have a Docker file. I have to run the Docker file. But what is happening is that actually I have to run my Docker file with the help of a Docker compose actually. So you got it, sir. What is the requirement, right? So now what is happening that actually, let me do one thing. Let me create one other directory, my file 3. Okay. Now assume that my file 3. So what I'm trying to tell that actually I have some Docker file. I need to build the Docker file with the help of a Docker compose. So for that, let me write a Docker compose file. Docker compose dot YAML. I'll use this time YAML, Docker compose. Same thing, sir. Here I'm using a version. Okay, same thing, 3 services. Okay, here. Okay, and I have to use the image name. What is the image name? Something my cloud. Okay, now here you have to use something as a build actually. Here you need to specify the path, where exactly the path of your Docker file is. So if you're mentioning the dot, it means that it will check in a presumption directly. Okay, and after that, you want to, what is an image name? It has to be like this. Image is something like same my cloud version 1. Now what is happening that here you are using specifically as a build actually. It means that build with what? Build with your own Docker file, what you have. Okay. Now let me do thing. Let me save this file. Now we'll say Docker hyphen compose. You don't have any Docker file over here, right? Only one file is there. You don't have a Docker file. Okay, I'll say something. Vi Okay, let me run first, sir. Let me check this actually whether it will run or not. Docker hyphen compose, hyphen fn help. If I do a hyphen fn help, actually, yeah, you need to use a build actually. Okay, what is it? Docker hyphen compose build and say enter. What is it? Same thing. It is not able to get the Docker file itself here. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me write a Docker file now. Docker file. You know now very well how to write Docker file. You have to use a from command, and I'll use a base image Ubuntu. What is it? 14.04. Okay, and in that, what I want to do, I want to just run some simple. I'll do just say touch ABC. So it means that once the image will get created, the container inside the container, I have to create one file actually. It means inside the Ubuntu image, I want to just create one file, basic simple file. Okay, so I'll save this. So now you have a Docker file now. It means that basically through your Docker compose, actually, you are actually building a Docker. You're building an image with the help of a Docker. And after it get created, you could see that what you're doing here. See, you have to build it, and the image name should be given as a my cloud :1. That is what. So whatever the image which you are creating, right, with the help of Docker file, right, the name should begin with this name. That's what I'm using image. And here you have to use build dot means in the present working directory, or else if your Docker file is somewhere else, give the exact absolute path. You give the absolute path, then it will go and pick the Docker file from there. Here I'm not specifying, I'm just specifying dot here. Okay, so now you do one thing. Now you just run Docker compose build build. Now you see it starts building. See, it starts building. Now you could see that it has created an image. Now you say Docker image ls. See, it has created the image. Clear, sir? So they won't ask this thing generally, but you have to just know that with the help of a Docker compose, you can even still build an image from the Docker file, right? That's how it is. But all this times we have seen that without a Docker file, I'm able to write, I'm able to bring up any container, new container, running container, right, with the help of a Docker compose itself. But tomorrow, if there's a requirement that somebody has written a Docker file, you want to make it build actually, then you can do it actually like that. Clear, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, where is it, sir? I'm sorry. Here, I think, yeah. What else, sir? Docker compose. If I can help, we'll see, sir. There are many interesting commands are there, sir. Very beautiful commands. Config. What is this config actually? Config. See, if you see this Docker compose, right? You can see the content of the Docker compose. Suppose I don't want to open it, I don't want to cat or view it. How I can do Docker compose and then specify the config option. See, it will display you the content of your Docker compose file itself. See, clear? Again, they might not ask an interview. Somebody, some mad fellow who's sitting, who's expert in Docker, right? He might ask you, what is the option for the Docker compose? I want to view the Docker content. It's a Docker compose file content. So please use Docker -compose config command. Config option that will show you the content of the Docker file. Okay, Docker -compose, same thing there, -fn help. What is the next one after this? Here, create, we have did it anyhow. Now down, we have did it. Down also, down, start, scale, and all we have did it already. You have something as an event actually. Now, what is this event actually? Event is something like suppose assume that actually you are in a file tree. I don't think we have a Docker command. I don't think, sir. I'll just remove this. Image. I don't think I'll use the same engine itself. So you have this now. So you have this now. Now you don't. So you have this now. Now, okay. Okay. Now you have this compose file which has this content. This is a simple. It'll create a simple injection, right? Now what is happening is that actually now if you say Docker -compose image, sorry, events, right? That's an option, right? What is events? So nothing, it is blocked here. Okay, it means that suppose you are doing any, suppose you are running a suppose you're executing this Docker Compose YAML file, this event will show you all the event activity, whatever it has happened onto this file. Okay. Now I'll go to the other terminal. I'll go to the my file 3. That's what it is. And here, what is happening that I will say docker-compose up-d. See, I'm running it. It is creating. You could see that it has generated an event actually. Through this event, you will get to know that what is happening onto this YAML file actually. Suppose assume that okay, I'll open one more. I'll open the same Docker Compose file, YAML file. Here, same thing. Now you could say that Rajesh, the same thing. What you do that you enable the port man, whatever you did it earlier. Okay, man, I'll do a port here. Ports actually. Okay, sir, you enable the port. So what is it? 8080. Again, you do the Docker up. So you're recreating it, right? Now you will see what the event has happened. See, you could see that actually whatever the things are happening on the compose file, you can. So this is how you can debug it actually. It means that your Docker Compose is failing or it is unable to create it. With the help of these events, right, event logs, right, you will be able to know what is exactly happening on it actually. Clear, sir? Any doubts you have?
No.
Okay, sir. Okay, good. What else? Docker Compose -help. Okay. Event is happening. Exec, sir. This is very good, sir. Actually, exec, very good, sir. What exactly exec will happen means actually. Now, assume that actually that you are having this Docker Compose file where you are running, you are having an image. Your image is up and running, right? If you execute Docker Compose PS. See, it is running actually. It is up and your Nginx is up and running. Correct? No? Right? Now what is happening? Inside this Nginx actually, or this inside this image, you want to create some file. Okay. You want to, what is my requirement is actually, it is in a running container. I want to create some file. Like what you can do an exec here. What exec does? Execute a command in a running container. How to do that? Now you see that Docker-compose. Okay, what is it? Exec. Here you have to mention the image names or the container name. So what in the Docker Compose? What you have in the Docker Compose? Sorry, let us first look into the Docker Compose. It has something on the my cloud, right? Same thing you have to use. Docker-compose. Okay, exec, and what is it? My cloud. What you're doing? Touch abc.txt file. I'm creating a file inside it, inside that running image. How to check it actually? Same exec. You do one thing. You do an ls. Can you able to see that ABC is there inside it? It means that you are able to, even whenever you want to view the content of your image, running image, you have to use exec, you have to specify your image name, and you have to say ls. Now you could see that abcdex.txt is there. That's how the exec is used, sir. Clear, sir? Docker Compose. Okay, sir. Here pause and unpause. We'll see it. Okay, port. It will print the port. Okay, we can even do a kill also. We can even use the image also. Docker compose image means what are the images build, right? It will show the image actually. Okay, help you know very well, right? And you know pull and push actually. This is what important, sir. Pull and push. See, what is pull? Basically, you know, in the Docker we understood, right? Pull is that you are basically pulling an image from your hub.docker.com, right? Like earlier we used to do, right? Like this Docker pull Docker image pull Ubuntu, something like that you used to do, right? You used to download, right? What it is happening, you're trying to pull this image from your hub.docker.com, right? Similarly, what is happening is that I want to use the same pull the images. It means that basically what happened is that you have a Docker Compose file. In the Docker Compose file, what is happening that here you are specifying some images actually. Okay, this is the content, this is the image ID or image is getting created, but here what happens, you are having some images, Nginx and all. I don't want to do any further operation onto the Docker. I want to only pull what are the images you have, so I can use it. For that, what happened, right? I want to depend upon the Google now. So what I have to do that, I have to use something like Docker Compose image pull. So like this I have to do. Okay, let me do one thing. So what it is doing that, okay, I'll do one thing, so here I'll copy this. Okay, I'll do one thing, I'll go back here, I will do mkdir my file 4. My file 4. I'll open the Docker -compose .yaml file. See, sir, here what is happening that I'm having an images with the name Postgre, right? I'm having an image of the web actually, right? Something is there. I don't want to run this completely. I don't want to run the content. I want to just pull this image. So to do that, Docker -compose -compose, just a pull. See, you're just pulling the image, sir. You're not running it actually. This is how you have to use the pull image. Similarly, Docker, we'll do one thing again. Docker image push actually. So for the push actually, so I'll go to this. Okay, I don't think I'll copy this. So now you know that push, right? You can even push your image into your hub.docker.com, right? That you remember, right? You know, right? How you can push it out. So I will do one thing. I will have one more directory, mkdir my file 5. Get into that. So here what is happening that I will say Docker -compose .yaml. So here we'll paste it. Now here what is happening that is it is expecting some image here. So what I will do that I will say Docker image ls, right? And let me check if there's an image there. So I have something as a my cloud image is there actually. Now the same image I want to push into the hub.docker.com with the help of a Docker Compose. So let me first do one thing. Let me first create an image. Docker image. First, you need to specify a tag, right? You remember I need to specify a tag. So I need to specify a tag. What is it? You have to use. Oh, I need to specify. I mean, I need to push this image into hub.docker.com. I'll say my cloud. Okay, colon, because it is a version 1, right? You have to use :1. Here, you know that in my system, right? No, sorry, in my hub.docker.com, right? You know that my ID is this one, right? I saw, right? Whenever you are creating an image, you have to use your username, right? What is username? Raj Linux is there. So here, what I will do, I'll say Raj Linux / and specify this my cloud like this. So first, you are creating your own. You are tagging an image. So now, if you say Docker image ls, I hope you all are understanding this because already we did all this and see you're able to create one image. Now I want to push this image, sir. So to push this image, so let me do thing. Let me copy this here. Copy this. Open the Docker Compose. Come here. Delete everything, sir. Okay, like this. Now you say Docker Compose push. Okay, let's push now. Okay, it has pushed now. It has pushed now. That's how it's, sir. Okay, that's how that you have pushed it actually. So see here, you have pushed this image. See, few seconds back you have pushed them. So you could see that you have pushed this image into your hub.docker. You have to follow this way. Services one, build dot, and then image like this you have to use. And then you have to use Docker push. Yeah, one thing you have to make sure that if suppose it is failing, you know very well that first you have to use the Docker login, right? You know that very well. Docker login you have to do. Then you have to, it's already been there. So that's how, or else I can remove this for your knowledge. Config.json, I'll remove this file. Now you could see that if I pushing this Docker compose push, it will fail it actually. See, authentication required, right? So authentication required. It means that you need to first do a Docker login. Now what happened? Username Raj Linux. That is my username. The password I have to give. So you are authenticated. Now you do a push. It will work. Now, see, it will work now. Got it, sir? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Good, sir. Okay. I hope that we have covered maximum, sir, today with the help of a Docker Compose. And this is how it is. And now you got to know that what are things they will ask in interview and all, right? That you know very well. And how Docker Compose is very useful. We have understood that also, right? And what is the advantage you will get with the Docker Compose, you have understood very well, right? So you need to practice few things on the same. So whatever I did, right? Same thing you have to practice at your place now. So to get it more expertise in this Docker Compose, right? So nobody will ask you how to write a Docker Compose and all. Nobody will ask you. They will just touch that. Oh, do you know about Docker Compose? You'll say, yes, sir, I know it. So it is better manageability of creating a container with the help of a Docker Compose, and you can do various operations on Docker scaling up, scaling down, right? We did a scale up and scale down so that we can. So that's how you are doing a kind of an auto scaling, right? You can use a scale up and scale down, and there are many features in the Docker Compose. You can even build a Docker file with the help of a Docker Compose. You can even pull and push the image, right? You can even stop all the containers, restart all it, everything. That's how you need to tell it actually. Okay. Fine, sir. Let me know if you have any doubts. We'll stop it today's session, sir. Okay, sir. Any doubts you have, let me know, or else we'll stop it. I think we can stop the. Ashish, can you stop the session? Stop the recording. Sorry. Any one of you can stop this recording. I don't have access.